So hey folks, today we're out here looking at this XLR Thunderbolt. This is a toy hauler by Forest River. We're at Colonia del Rey RV. This particular unit is right at 44 feet long. This is a 422 AMP model. This specific unit has the extreme weather package and it uses the aluminum structure. It's vacuum bonded. The frame on this toy hauler is a 12-inch I-beam frame, as you can see going all the way down. This does have a 6-point LCI level up system. It's an auto leveling system. On a toy hauler, something this size, I would definitely recommend you go ahead and get it equipped with the auto leveling, because it's really not going to add a heck of a lot to the price. An upgrade I would recommend is to the tires. This has the Super ST Westlake tires on it, 235 80/16, which is pretty standard for a fifth wheel. These are load range E tires. I would generally recommend you move to a Saloon or a Michelin or a Goodyear on something like this though. The last thing you want is one of these tires to blow out while you're going down the road and cause damage to the fifth wheel itself. Generally, when it does cause damage, it's under here and it causes this area of the wheel well lining to break apart, as well as damage these outside skirts, which can be very expensive to repair. Now this toy hauler is going to be a little different than most, because not only does it have the rear garage door that folds down, but it also has a side door that folds down into a patio. This toy hauler actually has the aluminum steps, which at the price point of this one being around $92,000 for sale, you kind of expect it to have aluminum steps. So this RV has an MSRP of $126 and a sales price of $92,800. So here's the living room in this particular unit. One thing that I don't really care for on toy haulers is you generally don't have much living room space because they need to make space for the rear garage. You tend to have these awkward angles where you sit in a sofa here and then the TV and entertainment center are off to your left, and you're essentially looking at the kitchen in front of you. I do admit though that it does have very nice LED lighting and backlighting throughout the unit, as well as a creative edge lighting they put here that's actually built into the back of the Corian. Another thing that tends to be a bit of an oddity with a lot of toy haulers is the placement of the front bedroom. Many times it's a queen size bed. I know you can get these with king size beds as well, but they usually place them forward and backward facing as opposed to side facing like you see on many of your rear living room units. And here's your wardrobe slide, which is actually a slide that most RVs would use as the bedroom to extend the bed side to side. Overall though, it has a lot of space in it, especially for a queen size bed. Here's the bathroom in this unit. At this price point you would expect to have a one-piece shower, which this one does have. Of course, pretty much all units have porcelain toilets now. This one's nice because it actually gives you a stainless steel sink inside of the bathroom. Most of the times this is where they use the lower quality material, sometimes plastics. A nice piece of tech that a lot of these newer, especially the higher end, and even some lower end travel trailers are now including is this touchscreen keypad. Many times it's removable in the form of a tablet or even an app that gives you the ability to retract and extend your awning, your levelers, your lighting, monitor panels for all of your tanks, and it makes it really convenient. And again, most of the time you can even get this as an application. This one uses a pretty standard stove oven combination, 3-burner, but the problem you might have with this particular unit is because it's pinched in right here, it might be hard to get handles turned in, so your handles end up facing outwards. If you have children, that could be a safety concern. You walk through a half bathroom to get to the back garage. This is a pretty good sized garage. As you can see on the sign here, this one has a 3,000 pound capacity, which means you could probably put a Fiat 500 back here, a smart car, or any other type of really compact car. It comes with a really nice ladder system to access an outside door, as well as this can be used on the main entrance door as well, and this is a much more rigid type stair system. Dyson vacuum. Of course, the top area up here are bunks and they can retract down, and these two right here turn into sofas as well. Once the back patio is dropped, as you've probably seen 100 times in other toy haulers, you can raise a gate that goes all the way around and have a nice back patio. A unique thing about this specific toy hauler is the fact that it has this side drop down as well that turns into a balcony or porch off the side of the unit. So not only do you have the rear back patio, you also would have a side facing back patio. But you'd have to be sure that the specific campground you're in has enough room for you to actually use it. If you don't stay in a campground that gives you really large pads to park on, you may not be able to drop this side unit. And as you can see, it has a secondary door, a glass door that can take you out to the balcony, as well as a loft up here, which is above the actual garage. It looks like it goes back about 5 feet. And it's the width of the RV, so it gives you a nice size area if you have some kids that want to risk themselves climbing up the side to get into it. Overall, it's a really nice unit. Again, I don't personally care for this type of sofa layout where you sit essentially looking straight ahead and have to cock your head to the left to look at the TV. I prefer more of a real living room type setup where you can talk to the people without looking side to side. As you can see, this specific unit does have frameless glass, but it's pretty standard to have traditional windows on the side of your slide outs, as this one does. Up top, you can see the window for the loft that was inside, and here's a side access door to get into your actual garage bay. Also, you'll notice this one has the ability to store fuel. So if you have ATVs, quads, side-by-sides, you have the ability to have fuel tanks to fill those up, built on board. In your higher-end units like this, you're also going to have full LED lighting. This one not only has rear ramp lighting, but it also uses LEDs for your brake lights and turn signals. This one does have the wireless backup camera. It's generally made by Furrion. This is also going to use a higher-end equalizer in between your rear leaf springs. In this case, it's the Cree 3000 by Moride. And this just helps act as a shock absorber and suspension for the RV going down the road. Some people might add shocks to these. I don't think it's generally necessary, but this is considered an upgraded suspension. And you'll see this one has a gross vehicle weight rating of 21,000 pounds. This one also has 3 7,000 pound axles. I had mentioned in a prior fifth wheel video that the Z-frame design on your higher end units generally drops the frame lower so you have a larger opening right here. But when you have toy haulers, they oftentimes won't use the Z-frame design simply because it can take some of the weight capacity off of the frame, and you want that when you're going to be hauling extremely heavy weights. You want that solid frame going back. It does have a very large pass-through right here though. For perspective, this is probably 2 feet wide by about 1.75 feet tall, and then this area right here is about 2 feet wide, and in front of it from here to here is probably 2.5 feet. This drop right here is about 1 foot as well, because that's essentially where the frame is. Another thing that's peculiar is you generally want your doors on a unit this expensive to be thicker. This door is only about, I'd say, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch thick, where on some of them they get up to be, 1.5 to 2 inches thick. On your higher end units, you also expect a slightly higher end pin box. Generally the Moride system's the most common. This particular one has a traditional pin box. This is really the pin box that comes on pretty much all models. This one's rated probably a little higher simply because it is a toy hauler. Now, a big part of the upgraded price on this is going to be this Cummins Onan generator. So this should power everything inside of the RV, including the air conditioning systems as well. One really nice feature on this particular toy hauler is that it has 3 AC units. Generally, your 2 living room units are going to be a 13.5 or 15K unit, and your front unit is a 13.5 unit. But you can probably opt to get all 15K units if you choose to. This is full body paint as well, which is something that also comes pretty standard on your higher end units. I hope you enjoyed this review of the XLR 422 AMP by Forest River. If you do, I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, everyone.